Hey you guys, are you ready? It's time for another episode of Punishing Dumbass Openings. This one's an absolute beauty. Just played it earlier on today. My opponent's rated mid-1400s like me, and it starts with the Vienna Game, okay? And then I am faced with something I had never seen before. D5 on move 2. D5 on move 2. And I'm thinking, is this some kind of new weird anti-Vienna Gambit? I don't know. But it's already bizarre. So my opponent's taken 5 seconds. That move was 2.3 seconds, right? No, 2 seconds. Yeah? And he's moved a pawn here, where it's attacked by 2 pieces and defended only by the queen. So what do? You've got to take the pawn, right? So I take the pawn. And now he offers another pawn. So I'm thinking, wow, this is some weird kind of Danish gambit kind of funky thing. So I go ahead and gobble up another pawn. Why not? Right? I've got a piece developed. Black doesn't have a piece developed. What's not to like? So now black develops a knight, and black is down a pawn. So it feels like we're in gambit territory, but it's a gambit I've never heard of. I've never seen before. So what do you play here? Well, I want to get my king castled. I want to develop my minor pieces. So bishop b5 pins the knight against the king. Black now plays queen to b6. Okay. Now this bishop's defended all right by the knight there, so that seems okay. The knight itself is pinned. This bishop's kind of safe for now. So what do? You carry on with development. Knight to f3. Now, black's bishop comes out, attacking my knight. Now, what would you play in this situation? Feel free to pause. So my analysis of this is, okay, my bishop is under attack. My bishop is defended only by the knight, right? Black is attacking the only defender of the bishop. All right, that seems all fine. However, I spot something here. I spot a nice fork, okay? So I play here knight to d5. And I'm trying to tempt black into making a catastrophic error. Because if queen takes the bishop, which is now undefended because I've moved the knight out of the way of his bishop, I get to play knight to c7 with a family fork on king, rook, and queen, okay? So, does black fall for it? Black does not fall for it, okay? Now, black also has to protect this bishop as well, right? Because my knight's also attacking that bishop. So, queen to a5, and now I capture the pawn on e5, right? Because this guy's still pinned, okay? Now, if the queen still can't capture this bishop because that three-way family fork is still on. So black now plays his bishop into d6. Now, my bishop is now on prise and undefended. It's hanging. Okay, so I think here, according to the engine, I think it calls this a blunder. But I decide to capture the knight and attack the queen. Okay, so the queen should now take the bishop, but doesn't. Instead, b takes c6. My opponent here has used 1 minute 11 seconds of his time in total, okay? And that then allows bishop takes c6 with a bishop fork on king and rook, right? The bishop's also defending my knight here. So it blocks with the bishop, and rather than capture the rook straight away, I throw in a check with a queen, queen e2 check. Knight blocks the check. I grab the knight, king can't recapture, bishop recaptures, now I grab the rook. Okay, so now I'm actually +8. I'm up 3 pawns and a rook. King moves out of the way, and then my opponent decides to resign because the game is pretty much already over. So let's have a quick look at the game review. And it's really interesting that, you know, when you feel like you are starting to take your opponent to pieces, it does get tricky. And you can see here in the graph that I definitely kind of take my foot off his neck at one point. So here, book, solid Vienna territory, and then what the flipping flip is that, right? It says it's an inaccuracy. Black is already down 1.28. Okay, I take with the pawn. The machine says taking with the knight is better. Let's just check that. Yeah, it says I should have taken with a knight. It's a bit minor difference. Okay, so I take with the pawn and another inaccuracy. So now he's down nearly 2 in the opening. I grab the pawn. Best move here, knight to f3. Okay. Attacking this central pawn. Fair enough. But I take there. He takes back with the knight. Okay. I come out with the bishop. Okay, there is a better move. Probably knight f3 again. Yeah. He wants me to bring the knight out and attack that pawn. But I bring the bishop out. And this is a mistake. And now I bring out my knight, and it likes that. This is another mistake. So he's just going wrong. Okay. What he should have played, bishop to there, defending this pawn. Okay. Remember, this knight is pinned against the king, so cannot save the pawn. This pawn is actually on prise, or hanging. Okay, so brings his bishop out to here, and this is the best move. Really happy about that. Very, very proud of finding that particular move. I'm attacking so much and so quickly. I've got 3 pieces nicely developed. Queen there, another inaccuracy, and he's just in a world of hurt at this point in time. Okay, knight takes the pawn, free stuff. I've got 3 pieces in line, right? But the queen can't capture the bishop because of this. Okay, it's always a target in the Vienna map. Bishop back to d6 is best, and here is where I screw up. So now it drops me down to only +5 in front. Okay, because queen can take there, and then really my advantage is kind of blown. All right. But because my opponent is hell-bent on self-destruction, he decides to capture with a pawn, which puts him now 9 behind. I'm now +9, takes his best. Here the computer wanted me just to grab the rook, but I threw in the queen check. Anyway, it's the difference between +9 and +9.2, so it's very little. Okay, knight blocks. I grab that again. It wanted me to capture the rook. There, I capture the rook, and it's all over. You know, he's down a full rook. I'm getting ready to castle my king, put my king safe. His king's already been forced to move. It's just absolutely terrible. Okay, so what did I miss? Let's go back to this. So I play that blunder. Okay, so what I should have done is queen to h5. And that's not an easy one to find, right? So let's think this through. Queen to h5, because I'm threatening queen takes f7, yeah? Queen takes f7, and he's just fighting them off at that point, right? So that's an immediate threat. Let's just look at the line. Has to block. Knight comes in now there. Okay. Right. Okay. Tough one to figure out. I guess as an alternative, bishop takes wouldn't have been too bad either. That comes with check. I think bishop takes there. Let's have a look at this. I haven't got my queen up. Yeah. So I don't know what that would have been like. Yeah, it doesn't like that at all. In fact, that's way, way better for black, funnily enough. But as it turns out, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to find the most winning moves when you just feel like you've got such an embarrassment of riches in front of you. But yeah, bringing the queen out there definitely would not be obvious to me. Okay, so I should have played the queen out to here. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Okay, so there you go. Quick one, but it had to go in, didn't it? Had to go into the Punishing Dumbass opening series. Just too good not to share. So there you go, guys. Little bit of fun. Thanks for watching. See you later.